Welcome everyone to another episode of Price Targets with your host Bitcoin Jack. We're going to be looking at what the Elon pump was, or what I think was involved. I don't think it was per se Elon tweeting. There was a lot of options expiring and futures. We're going to be talking about ETH. I think it looks really well against USD. Against BTC, I'm not really sure. If Bitcoin is going to be bumping from here, which is a decent scenario, I want to see a little bit of strength on ETH BTC, but we're going to look at that a little bit later. First things first, your attention for Econs. They're sponsoring this content, so a big shout out to them. Thank you very much. They're having a trading competition. You can win all sorts of prizes. I think there's about 3 BTC to be won, 10 ETH. So they're doing this for Lunar New Year. Make sure you check it out. There's a link in the description below and in the watermark. So again, thank you Econs for sponsoring. Bitcoin, what happened? First of all, we had the Elon pump, and a lot of people got really angry because Elon put Bitcoin in his Twitter bio, and just after the pump initiated, by the way. This pump happened. People thought it was because of Elon's mention, and then pretty much everything retraced almost to the origin of the pump. So is that a bullish, is that a bearish thing? A lot of people are saying, well, that was just the exit liquidity. There was a lot of market buying happening here on spot, especially on Coinbase, and there's been an outflow in the last 24 hours that was pretty significant, around 14,000 something Bitcoin. So maybe that has something to do with it. Maybe it was just a bunch of shorts closing or buying some spot to hedge the whole thing. But matter of fact is that we had options expiring. And I think options expire 8 a.m. UTC. So you see this candle right here. That's literally it. And I think Elon tweeted, let me go to the 50 minute. Elon started tweeting. Well, I'm not sure actually, so let me not make any claims on that. Back to the 4-hour. It would have been very bearish in my opinion if we retraced onto like the full candle. Very bearish, because this was one of the highest volume candles on spot. If you look at the aggregated spot volume across like FTX, Bitfinex, Bitstamp, Coinbase, pretty much the legit Bitcoin exchanges with pairs that have no wash trading. So that this was a huge chunk. I think it was the largest 4-hour candle since May or something. Kind of coming back all the way down is not the worst thing that can happen, but like closing below it is probably not the thing you want to see to be convinced to be bullish. So what are we looking at? This trend zone is retested right here. We have a range. Our resistance is at 34.8ish. Key level 4-hour close is around 32.8, and I think if price can manage to close above orange, not get rejected by black here at 34.8, and then retest black, it's gonna rally at least to 36.5, and my key level to become really convincingly bullish would be above 39k on a daily basis. So that's pretty much a few $100 above the red line there. The red line here is our equilibrium of the range. So we're going to be funking around a little bit here, I think. If we look at the lower time frames, so the hourly, all kinds of things are possible, I guess. You can see the clean retests here. This clearly is a deviation. So ideally, this remains the level that we want to see to be hold. So it held on the 4 hour, it became a deviation. If we must go back down all the way here, this is what I want to see respected. So basically stops below here. And I think, / hope, because I'm long, that this kind of is a head and shoulders developing. So if we want to calculate where that can at least project us, like if we ignore the deviation and just grab this, that kind of projects us up here, right? So 36.5 to 37. It's still important to kind of remain a little bit cautious. If I zoom out and we kind of don't manage to hold the quote unquote Elon pump, this could still be distribution, right? So there is some kind of like a, let's see, there's some kind of like a, you can see all kinds of things right now. There is kind of a bull flag, falling wedge, breakout, but it can still be a lot of things, right? There's no guarantees right here that this just doesn't like bounce, come back down, and then fucks around for a long time, and then eventually breaks down. I don't know, visits 26, 27, maybe even like 24. So I'm playing the long side, and I hope to see strength. And literally what would be most ideal to confirm that strength is just brute force. A lot of speed here. Claim this. And see continuation. So still cautious. I'm not really sure. It's still consolidating. There is a increased odds that this is going to see high time frame continuation. And I don't want to talk about targets yet, because I want to see how this kind of finishes to make the right projections on what I expect. But it's gonna be, if this is gonna see continuation, I think it's gonna be strong continuation, just purely because of the sheer amount of volume being traded in here. So if we see continuation and it just doesn't become like, you know, something like that on low volume, but if we have like volume on the breakout and volume building after that, etc., there's a lot of people who sold here that will be rushing back in. So we have a lot of attention at Bitcoin right now. So that might, you know, be something we have going for ourselves. Let's look at ETH BTC. If we zoom out, we broke out of this kind of head and shoulders pattern. It's not the cleanest head and shoulder, inverse head and shoulders pattern. What I'm kind of not really too satisfied about is how we kind of like close back inside, or trying to close back inside under this high right here. So maybe for ETH is going to be a little bit of a retracement back into this zone. There's liquidity at both these wicks. I want to see a close above here and holding to see continuation, and the imminent target remains 0.05, 0.06. But if Bitcoin is going to rip, you obviously have the odds stacked against you a little bit if you trade ETH. I mean, in terms of USD, it's likely to perform well. The problem is that you're better off holding Bitcoin if ETH BTC underperforms. So if ETH BTC goes down, you're just not going to make as much money as if you would have held Bitcoin, unless somehow you trade with leverage, and obviously then you're going to outperform and make more Bitcoins. But if you're just trading spot and ETH BTC does not trend, then you're not going to be making Bitcoin, which I think is the sole purpose of trading altcoins, unless there's going to be like some kind of giant switch in dominance or something. But I don't think that's gonna happen. But I still want to chart ETH USD because it just looks good, and maybe it's just like maybe it just confirms that the market in general wants upside, and it's a good sign for Bitcoin, I guess. The 4 hour, this is kind of an interesting situation. There's people who are looking at this kind of trend line and say like, oh my god, it's been touched here many times, it's going to break down. Could be. I don't think it's going to happen. I think this is like an ABC correction pattern between these two highs and these two lows, and then this kind of forms the first impulse of the next move, and price is now kind of consolidating under resistance of all-time high back in 2018. It's going to be tricky, but I think the fact that this got rated right here is the go signal for this to push back into resistance right here. Maybe another tiny little kind of fuckery there, and then kind of see the continuation. So ideally, you either get in around here or you wait for the breakout, kind of push back and then get in, and maybe it's just gonna shoot away from you. So I kind of like to play early and aggressive on these kind of setups. Invalidation wouldn't be below here because there's still liquidity to be gained, but invalidation, it's not very far away. And if we look at where I think this might be going, the first target would be $2,222, and then there's $2,833,033 to the upside, and that's essentially using this kind of move, and it's also using the fib here. So the next pump is likely to reach at least 1.618, and then if it extends, it can be even further, and then obviously there's probably just going to be another fifth wave as well. So 1, 2, 3, some kind of corrective fourth, probably deep and steep because this is sideways rule of alternation, and then a fifth wave that could end up anywhere up there. It's kind of can't really forecast exactly how that's going to happen, but it looks really good. It looks really nice. So let's just pray that that's gonna pop. I'm long. We'll have to see that. There's a few things that have people worried. One thing in the last couple of days has been the equities selling off and the VIX going up. I think for now that worry is it's okay. We're seeing a bounce. The strange thing is it's happening with a little bit of strength on the dollar. There's a bit on the dollar. I'm not really sure where the bit on the dollar is coming from because metals are up right here. Dollar, if gold is up a little bit, and then obviously silver is up almost 10% today, and even crypto is up. So kind of slightly confused. But I think I posted this on Twitter. Correlations are very useful, but you gotta have to consider that correlations don't always hold. They can break. There might be new influences in the market, things that change. So you can't solely rely on correlation. So the fact that people think that dollar up means equities down / Bitcoin down / gold down is a dangerous assumption, because it's not always been the case. Like, it's been the case for the last, I don't know, weeks, months, year. But that just doesn't mean it's going to be like that forever. And sometimes markets just have these strange new influences, and the market is going to trade against it. So keep that in mind. Correlations change. Causation is the best word to find your answer as to why things happen, and sometimes you just don't know, so you just have to play the chart. And like, obviously there is support for the dollar here. Maybe it's gonna pop a little bit and then it's gonna sell off. Maybe it's just gonna first sell off, reach these levels, and then rally. I don't know. I have no clear read on what's that going to happen, but it's weird because Bitcoin is up, the S&P 500 is up, everything is up, which is strange because, where's the demand for the dollar coming from if there's also demand for equities? But anyways, sometimes you just don't have or want to answer those questions. Bitcoin, been talking about it. Would be nice to go here, hold it for once, claim this, hold it, rally. That was it. Make sure you check out the ECAS competition. They would be really happy with you signing up, so check out the link in the description below, and I'll check you on Wednesday. Cheers.